Hello, welcome to the weather update. It's about 10 o'clock, the last day of April. Another mostly sunny, clear day. Maybe a few scattered clouds over the east end in the morning. Otherwise, again, another clear day again. And I was outside, again, enjoying it, though, a little later in the afternoon. I was at Babylon. I'll have a video for you at Southard's Pond. But you see, this is the latest. I like to see some Cirrus trying to get in, but there's a battle between that and that high pressure surge that is still over us. Looking at the current conditions right now across the area, sea breeze did finally develop in the evening, like around after 5 o'clock or so. Sea temperatures generally 51 at Farmingdale, 48 at Islip, 47 at Westhampton. And it looks like Jersey, it's cooler in Jersey, oddly enough. 50 in Tom's River, 48 already there. I guess maybe starting to radiate already around Lakehurst there, 48 degrees. Dry air still dew points, so they have a sea breeze south-southeast. Sometimes they can get a sea breeze in Ocean County, and I guess they did wind up getting one. Look at this, 43 already at Miller Air Park. So, yeah, calm winds. They're already radiating. They're radiating more than Westhampton, which is 47. So that's kind of interesting. So let's look at the observations for Islip here for the day, so we can take a look and see what happened today. And you can see when that sea breeze kicked in. Right, actually, it didn't kick in there until 6:40. But look at what happened when the sea breeze kicked in. So at 6:40, it was 61. At 6:45, it was 55. The temperature dropped that quick when the sea breeze came in. Very interesting to see that. And we're going to look at some observations across the area and show you that. Really interesting because it was a north-northwest to west winds. It was going between west and northwest and northerly. It was kind of switching around a lot, which is kind of interesting. But you can see this is what the observations were throughout the day. Very interesting to see the effect of that sea breeze. And let's see if we can... let's go to this station here, Pine Wall. Let's see. This is New Jersey, so let's see if we have a good... Yeah, good. They took a lot of observations, too. It was warmer there in Jersey. But let's see what wound up happening when that sea breeze came in. There it was. There it is right there. But not as dramatic of an effect as... Oh, no, there it is. There you go. Then the temperatures drop into the 50s. Kind of interesting there. But not as dramatic as an effect of on Long Island. Let's see. More of a gentle slope down. But very interesting to see, for sure. So let's go over our lows for the day. We'll first start off with the lows because it was... Well, actually, before I change this, let's look at Westhampton for a minute. Show you what happened at Westhampton last night because it got very cold last night in the morning. It dropped down into the 20s. So we were below freezing after midnight last night in Westhampton, and it stayed there for most of the night, actually. So that's quite dramatic radiational cooling there, and I wanted to kind of point that out. So let's go to the lows. Now we'll start off with the lows this morning. So... see down in the morning here, waiting for it to load. Look at that, 25 at Westhampton was the low. Yep, 39 at Shirley, 43 at Islip Airport, and you can see a 34 there in Brookville. But otherwise, lows were in the mid 40s last night. And then we also had that radiational cooling in New Jersey as well. 27 was the low at Miller Air Park, 34 at Lakehurst. So quite cool, actually. Radiated actually was cooler in Ocean County and Tom's River last night than in many parts of Long Island, except for the Pine Barrens. That's kind of interesting that you can get that in New Jersey if the conditions are right. You can get some really good radiational cooling. Conditions are right. Jersey isn't always hotter than Long Island. Sometimes it can be colder, depending on it. And that's because I think that the winds calmed down a little more over New Jersey versus Long Island last night. And that's why they were able to get a lot of that radiational cooling that you see there. So now let's all look at the high temperatures. And you'll probably see it probably got a lot warmer in Jersey today than it did on Long Island. So 64 at Islip, 64. So generally mid-60s across the island for highs. And for New Jersey, also mid-60s. So not a big difference. Maybe as you head further west, like McGuire Air Force Base, 68. But similar temperatures. Around 70, though, as you're in central part of Jersey. Believe it or not, I think the central part of Jersey, like Edison and Newark, are actually hotter than Tom's River because, again, they get hotter. They're away from the ocean. So at least, if the winds are right, you get that southeasterly flow, it can cool down. So let's go to 1 to ground because we want to look at that sea breeze. Because I was in Babylon, and I left Babylon around 5 o'clock, a little before 5, and there was no sea breeze. But when I got off the train in Belmore, there was a sea breeze, and you could really feel the difference. So that's where I was. I was in Babylon, so let's see. Deer pen. All right. So we're going to see if the sea breeze shows up on here. 50 degrees there right now. Oh, there it is. There it is. So it looks like it moved through there around 5:44. But look at that. Clearly see it was in the mid-60s. And when the sea breeze hit, boom, dropped in the 10-degree temperature drop in a matter of minutes. That was and the dew points went from the mid-20s up to around 40. So cooler, more moist air. Look, that's very interesting. Look at that. I love looking at these things. And a lot of other people, they just, in the weather, they don't want to talk about this stuff. But to me, it's very interesting to see. And if you were up north, if you were like in Deer Park, that sea breeze, I don't even think you got a sea breeze. Let's see if there was a sea breeze up there. That's at Huntington Station. Let's see. Let's get one. Here's one for Deer Park. So let's see if that sea breeze shows up in Deer Park. There it is, but look at that. It came in a little bit later there, 6:30. You can see it went from the mid-60s down to the 50s. That's really impressive. But it happened earlier in Belmore. I think it started earlier further west. Probably because the gradient is a stronger gradient between the South Shore and inland. So it probably started here first. And if we look at Belmore, for instance, let's go look at Belmore. It probably started earlier because when I got off the train in Belmore, it had already started. I'm kind of curious when it started here. So it started a little bit earlier, 5:19. You can see, look at that. It went from 65 down to 57. That's crazy. So almost a 10-degree temperature drop. Look at that. Look at how the dew point went up to when the sea breeze came in. Really interesting a sea breeze effect today. Really interesting to see. Let's see if we had that effect in Mineola or not. Probably not as dramatic, but let's see if we did wind up seeing that effect. Waiting for it to load. Not as dramatic. So say it went from 65 down to 60, and then it was more of a slow because we're more inland. So obviously that's why less of a dramatic effect there. Let's go look at. Yep, there goes a plane. So let's go look at Ridge. I want to see Ridge. That's not the one. Where's the one I want for Ridge? I think this is the one I want for Ridge. So let's see if Ridge had the sea breeze hit. Yeah, see, not as dramatic. Wow, it didn't kick in there until much later. So out east, it seems like it took longer to kick in versus west. So it's kind of interesting, actually. Very interesting, believe it or not. So yeah, either way, very interesting. But anyway, let's talk about the next 24 hours. That's all I'm going to cover in this weather update. And we'll talk a little more about it the week ahead tomorrow night. But let's go to the HRRR 0Z. And we'll just show you, we'll be dry most of tomorrow, but you can see some rain tries to get into southern New Jersey tomorrow night, but you can see that dome of dryness really sticks around, and then we'll have to deal with the chance of showers as we head into Monday morning. So let's look at the dew point and winds, and here's the dew point and wind, and you'll see the light and variable winds tomorrow you'll see it won't be quite as bone dry as it's been, but still low humidity. Dew points only in the 30s and generally 30s. And you can see the winds go southerly, so there'll be a sea breeze tomorrow, and then you'll see some of that moisture trying to come in for Monday morning. So let's look at our temperatures. And our temperatures are here. Our temperatures, and again, we got mid-40s. We could see that radiational cooling again tonight in the Pine Barrens, where it could get quite chilly again. Probably not as cold as last night, below freezing, but lows could still get down into the 30s, probably 40s for the rest of us. And tomorrow we warm up, and be just as warm as today, if not a little warmer. Maybe upper 60s to around, maybe closer to 70. Definitely 70s if you're in New Jersey. But you'll see that there will be a sea breeze, and that will kick in later on in the afternoon. and drop the temperatures down. But I think most areas are going to probably wind up getting close to 70 degrees on Long Island before that sea breeze develops, unless you're right on the water. And then the sea breeze develops, cools off the South Shore and East End, and then will eventually cool off the rest of us, and we drop into the 50s. So let's now look at the skies. We had some disagreement with this on the models, so let's go and look at that. RGEM first. These are the 18Z models. So it definitely, here's the 18Z RGEM. And you'll see starting off clear, but I think some cirrus. If you're in Jersey, the cirrus will be with you probably by late morning. For us on Long Island, probably in the afternoon, it'll start rolling in, and you'll see that cirrus roll in, and we'll have definitely more clouds tomorrow. I don't think it'll be a crystal clear day, at least not according to the RGEM. But like I said, there is model disagreement. So let's go to the 18Z NAM, because the NAM holds off the clouds a little more. You can see just a very little bit of cirrus. It keeps it actually mostly clear right up until late afternoon. So, it's much slower with the cloud advance. All right, so we have disagreements on the models here. So the further east you are, the more likely you're going to see the blue skies without any clouds in them. Let's go to one more, FV3. This is the FV3, which is the GFS, and this is more aggressive in bringing the clouds in it really brings them in much quicker than the other models. So just going to have to see what's going to happen here with this. It's a definitely disagreement in the models, whether we'll see a mostly sunny day or not. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have a better idea in the morning, but it should still be a nice day. Maybe not as clear as today, but it'll still be a nice day to get outside. But hey, 3 clear days in a row. I mean, I can't remember the last time that's happened. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night.